30-minute discussion, and I will lend it over to the superintendent.
Thank you, President Rodriguez. I know we have some as part of our team that has been working on this that is available to answer any questions that may be before the board this evening. But before we formally introduce the resolutions, I wanted to just provide a little more background. And as I think both you and I have done this evening already, we've, I think, begun to reemphasize, I think, that is the need within our community. Earlier this year, we had a facilities master plan, sustainable facilities master plan completed of our school district, a very thorough documentation of every one of our district's facilities. And they've determined what that long-term and immediate need is throughout our community. And as we have said earlier, that the average age of our schools are 42 years. You know, we're one of the older school districts in California. And many of our schools were built at some time ago. They're in need of repair, and they're in need of transformation, much as we have seen recently through the two most completed projects, the Luther Burbank Sports Complex and the complete renovation and retooling of the Met downtown. These repairs they go beyond simply repairing facilities and buildings and playing fields, but they truly, as we have heard time and again, they make a transformational difference in people's lives, not only in the students and in the adults that attend these schools or utilize these facilities, but throughout a community. They take on more than simply brick and mortar. We've been very strategic so far, because in order to do transformative work, you need to have a plan. And we've put an excellent plan into place. And that plan has been made available. The plan has come here before the board, and the plan has been vetted and continues to be with the public. And it is for the public's disposal, available through our website. And it's identified many of the critical transformational needs that are necessary. And this evening, tonight, we have two resolutions before you that we believe will make a difference. And as I said earlier, we won't have the resources initially to do everything we need to do. And to use a metaphor, and maybe not a good one, you know, we need to start to take a good bite out of this big watermelon that we have before us, this $2 billion need. And we have to do those things that are critical. We have to do those things that are transformational and that will have the biggest impact on our children. And that is before you tonight in the first measure. But in the second measure, which we believe makes good sense, there are also needs that every one of our children in this school district need as well, that are equally important, but which touch all of our children. And it's important as we look at this second ballot initiative, which has a focus on health and safety of children, as they look at recreational opportunities as well as nutrition and how we feed and sustain our community, that we want the community to weigh in. And we want the community to have a say in both of these measures. We want to be thoughtful, I think, as you've said, President Rodriguez, transparent, respectful, and giving them an opportunity to weigh in. And it's an approach that has been used successfully recently by another school district, the Torrance School District in Southern California. So we believe that this is the approach that makes the most sense. So we have these two measures, these two resolutions before you, and at this point I'd be happy to entertain any questions, and our team that is here tonight also to answer any of specific questions that you may have.
Okay. I just would like to review and, for transparency purposes, make the announcement that board members had an opportunity last week to review the master plan in detail with our consultant. Thank you, NTD, and thank you for being present with us today. So therefore, if it seems like the board is a little silent on questions, it may be because we had questions that were thoroughly asked and answered, and we appreciate that as well. So I don't know if anyone, board member, still has questions, or if they would like to summarize what their understanding is of the master plan facilities or the ballot measure. Okay. Public comment. Okay. So I think the board wants to go with public comments. Let's go public comment.
We have 5 public comments on 10.1. I'll read all 5 names, and if folks can please line up behind the microphone at the podium in the order in which you're called. Richard Markison, Maria Rodriguez, Greg Anderson, Jim Keddy, and Eric Kristen.
Good evening, President Rodriguez, board members, Mr. Raymond. I'm here tonight representing about 1,000 apprentices in the state of California, apprentices who are enrolled in programs run by the Western Electrical Contractors Association, the Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors of California, and the Associated Building Contractors. None of these apprentices will be able to work on any of the projects that are being proposed. This board or a previous board approved a project labor agreement that specifically excludes them from construction work on district projects. Now, frequently in debates about project labor agreements, there will be comments made, well, anybody can work on a project labor agreement. All they have to do is agree to the agreement. Well, that's simply not the case in the case of registered apprentices. They can't drop out of their program and join another program. And since they don't, they're not enrolled in a union program, they cannot work on your projects. An analogy would be, say that the district wanted to do an academic decathlon and invited all of the students in California to come and participate. Oh, but by the way, you have to drop out of your enrolled high school and enroll in McClatchy High School in order to compete. Now, in view of your embrasure of open and transparency, what we would suggest that you do, and I did provide this board with copies of fair and open competition language that we encourage you to incorporate in the bond measure. Should you choose not to do that, we would encourage this board to immediately negotiate an extension of your PLA with the building trades so that the voters in Sacramento will have a clear understanding of what this board's position is going to be on the construction work under this bond. I believe it expires in 2013, and we would encourage you to make it absolutely clear to the voters who will be going to the polls in November what your position is on construction work for this district. Thank you.
President Rodriguez, Superintendent Raymond, and board members, sorry that I'm here for the 3rd time. I was going to do it all at once, but Mr. Ross advised me I needed to split it up. I came here neutral about this, and I'm trying to stay neutral. I appreciate the comments about the stadium and about transparency. I appreciate all the work that has gone into this, volunteers like Mr. Keddy behind me, the time that Mr. Raymond took to invite community members to a meeting. My gut feel is I'm afraid that this may take away from the classroom, from the operations. People have limited checkbooks, people have limited time, and I'm just nervous that it will distract from the task. So I'm here tonight to listen to stories which are very convincing, and to listen to plans of how this will be successful and not detract from other efforts. At my house, time is more scarce than money, actually. I'd be happy to take out my checkbook and write something to the foundation. I probably will. The calendar is very impacted. I have limited time Do I spend it supporting this bond measure or not? I need to figure that out, and that's why I'm here this evening. Again, thank you for all your work. I did actually have one more thing since I have time. One of the reasons I think about programs is if you think about the schools in the district that have waiting lists that go on forever, they are not necessarily schools that are the most beautiful. They're the schools that have the best reputations for teachers.
Good evening, President Rodriguez, Superintendent Raymond, members of the board. My name is Greg Anderson. I'm with Rex Moore Electrical Contractors and Engineers in Sacramento, and I'm the chairman of the Western Electrical Contractors Association's apprenticeship program. It's the largest apprenticeship program in the state for electricians. And as Mr. Markison just pointed out, the board's position, this district's position since 2005 has been to discriminate against those apprentices on its construction work. As a result of that discrimination, Rex Moore, the oldest electrical contractor in Sacramento, will not bid on your work. That is just one small example of the anti-competitive nature of project labor agreements, and that they blatantly discriminate against a certain group of people in favor of another class of people. So I would encourage you, as Mr. Markison said, to either put fair and open competition language in your bond proposals, or extend it, the project labor agreement, so the voters in November know exactly what they're voting for, that they are voting for wasteful, irresponsible spending of that money, and that they're voting to give you more money to discriminate against individuals on projects. Thank you very much.
Good evening, President Rodriguez, board members, Superintendent Raymond. I'm Jim Keddy. I'm here as a community member, a former parent, and as someone who's been involved over the years in a number of initiatives here in the district. I played a leadership role in the school bond campaigns of 1996, 97, and 1999. I'm one of the founders of the Parent-Teacher Home Visit Project. I helped create the state's first funding source for after-school programs, worked for years to expand health coverage for children, and was involved in the legislation that banned the sale of sodas on school campuses. I currently work in the field of health and prevention and would like to speak to two elements of the bond proposal having to do with the central kitchen, improvement of kitchen facilities, and the rehabilitation of athletic fields and facilities. It seems like we hear about the obesity epidemic every day in the media, but what we don't hear as much about is the diabetes epidemic. Obesity and diabetes are two sides of the same coin. In fact, some health leaders now use the term diabesity to describe what's going on. The Center for Disease Control estimates that with current trends, 1/3 of all children born in the year 2000 will develop diabetes in their lifetimes. With African American and Latino children, this prediction is even more dire. 1/2 of African American and Latino children will develop diabetes. Think of an average classroom of 30 or more children here in Sacramento, and then think of the 10 to 15 children of those who will live with diabetes. Diabetes is a matter of life and death. People with diabetes suffer from numerous ailments, live daily with the psychological distress of having the disease, and live shorter lives. Their lives are shorter, and they lose years of quality lives, 19 years for men on average and 22 years for women. The improvement in school nutrition and physical activity here in Sacramento is essential to reducing diabetes and saving lives. A central kitchen through which we will be able to cook real food for kids, not processed food, is a lifesaver. A safe space for kids to run and play and to practice sports is a lifesaver. When school leaders act in support of nutrition and physical activity with our kids, you're acting as lifeguards. In feeding our kids right and giving them a place to play, you're a health provider, and our community is critical to health as Kaiser or Sutter. And in supporting this bond members, you have the chance to be a lifesaver. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keddy. And also, thank you for all of your work on the Parent-Teacher Home Visit Project and your role on the National Advisory Board. Thank you very much.
Madam President, board members, my name is Eric Christen. I'm the Executive Director of the Coalition for Fair Employment and Construction. I'm going to extend you the courtesy of being blunt tonight. I stand here tonight because in 2005, you decided to discriminate against the class of workers that are known as merit shop construction workers and the people that employ them. That's about 85% of the California construction workforce. As a result of that, as the latest study that just came out last year that studied 551 schools, most comprehensive study ever done on project labor agreements, all California schools, found PLAs result in a 13 to 15% cost increase as a result of having the PLAs on your projects. As a justification for your needing to go to a bond, staff said there continues to exist a need for additional funds to address health and safety needs, continuing facility renovation, et cetera. Yes, because in essence, you've taken $40 million and wasted it, placating the demands of union bosses over the demands of taxpayers and workers. As a result of that, and as a result of the actions of the 23 school districts out of more than 400 that have passed bonds, only 23 have been enlightened enough to go and place a PLA on them. As a result, we took two provocative and proactive stances a few years ago. We have passed 11 project labor agreement bans in the state, the latest being America's 8th largest city in San Diego just a few months ago. 58% of the voters approved the PLA ban, despite unions outspending us $1.2 million to $600,000. 58% to 42. That's happened 11 times in the state. Every time we go to the voters, they get it. They know what PLAs are: waste, fraud, and discrimination. For entities such as yourself, where we don't have the ability to go to the voters, we have decided to come up with the School Bond Accountability Project. Put in the fair and open competition language, or we will educate using a lot of money voters as to what you're up to. The bond won't pass. The choice is yours. We'll see you at the polls. Do the right thing or continue to placate union bosses and do the wrong thing and not have your bond pass, because I guarantee you when we're through with it, it will not pass.
There are no further public comments. I have one board member, Member Terry.
I'm just a little stunned by the last commenter. I wonder if staff could talk a little bit about, I believe it was the first commenter's question. Sorry, I'm just still a little amazed at that last one. About how this will help us free up expenditures that can be used to go back into the classroom, specifically around savings on our facility staff, and how some of that cost may be able to be burdened or be handled or paid for through additional bond funds. Because I think it would really help at least that commenter understand why I think this is a worthy cause.
Sure. In fact, from the first comment, in fact, as a parent at the Met, you know and understand the renovations that have been done at that building. It's now the first, both CHIPS and LEED. These are very high performance energy efficiency ratings, not given easily. In fact, it's the first school in Sacramento to have earned those ratings. That school will save thousands of dollars every year just by opening its doors and operating and serving children in a facility now. Not only is it a state-of-the-art green facility, but it was specifically redesigned and repurposed to be able to meet the educational needs of those students. So there are many projects that will be addressed through these bond resolutions that not only will save energy, will save resources such as water, increased efficiencies, but those dollars directly will be freeing up general fund dollars, which can then be utilized and put back into program to support teachers in the classroom and to support other efforts at educating our students. So it's really a win-win by not only, and I think our colleagues from NTD can speak to it, but they refer to it as the triple bottom line. So you're doing something that's good for the environment. You're doing something that makes business sense, and you're also doing things that are good for children and the adults that are in those facilities. I hope I captured that correctly. So the point is that not only by renovating our facilities, we can make them more energy efficient. We can save water. We can save other resources that go to sustain these facilities and operate these facilities. But by so doing, we can save millions of dollars, which will free up general fund dollars, which can be used to directly pour back into the classroom. So it has many multiple abilities to be a win. And if I have left anything out, Jordan, I would ask that you come up and either fill in or perhaps tell me to be quiet.
Board Member Arroyo.
Thank you, President Rodriguez. I only have one question as I went through the list of the projects list, and this is to Superintendent Raymond. If you can please enlighten me on, first, did we work with all our employees and our partners within the district to make sure that we have the most exhaustive list of projects? Because we're going to depend on them to make sure that we get them done. And so in particular, I'm concerned with the maintenance. And if you can please address that one particular part, because it's great to renovate, build facilities, but it's also important to maintain them afterwards. So did we?
If I can respond? Yeah. Yes, thank you, Member Arroyo. So when this process started early in the year, we created a Superintendent Advisory Committee, and our bargaining partners were invited to attend those meetings. They were held roughly monthly. In addition to that, we had an opportunity to meet with our collective bargaining partners, particularly our classified staff. We gave them an opportunity to weigh in on the bond packages as they were being prepared, to provide comment, and specifically to get their input on areas such as ongoing maintenance and other aspects of the package that would be important to not only as we renovate the facilities, but how can we care and how can we sustain them. And so they did have an opportunity on multiple occasions to weigh into that.
And then, are there any specific items that I can look at or being pointed out to within the list? And I'm sorry if they're all buried in there because it's
no. The specific list that we've provided. As you look under the district-wide modernizations, repairing and upgrading projects, you can see the specific. Okay. The specific list there, how they will be utilized to secure and to keep our facilities up to date. And
so as far as will we be working with them on these particular items in the future? I mean, I know that we can put the specifics on amounts and the like. I just want to make sure that we work as collaboratively as possible as we can as we move forward with
yeah, and I think one of the things we realized is they have the expertise. They're out in our schools every day. They're doing the work. They're helping to maintain and to repair them, and that is expertise that we will continue to rely upon and to utilize.
Thank you.
Member Kennedy.
Thank you, President Rodriguez. I apologize. I had the wrong button lighting up. There's all that time off. I don't know how to use these things anymore. I wanted to read real quickly. I was asked to by Richard Pan, Assembly member who we heard from earlier through the superintendent, but he couldn't be here, so he did ask me to read into the record a letter, if I may. Dear Sacramento City Unified School District Board of Education members, I want to recognize the leadership of the Sacramento City Unified School District in providing healthier nutrition to your students and express my support for a centralized kitchen facility that would expand the capacity of the district to provide more nutritious and appealing meals in your schools. Schools play a very important role in the nutrition of children, both through the food service served to students and the nutritional habits instilled on school sites. As a pediatrician and former medical consultant for the Sacramento City Unified School District, I am proud that SCUSD is taking significant steps to promote healthier and more nutritious eating for the students. A centralized kitchen facility brings many benefits to the students and school district, including greater flexibility in meal preparation, potential cost savings, and many other benefits. I applaud the school district for investing in efforts to build a healthier Sacramento. Sincerely, Dr. Richard Pan, Assembly Member, 5th District. I thank you for your indulgence.
Thank you, Member Kennedy. Are there any other board comments, questions? Thank you. Vice President Cunha.
I just wanted to comment briefly and thanks staff for meeting with me. I believe it was last week and going over the master plan, and I did have obviously some questions and concerns in regard to the direction and the choice of options that were presented. But after reviewing the master plan and speaking with staff and looking at them, I do believe that this is the best option. I see the transformational approach, the rationality to student learning, and how it can help not only save money, but also kind of propel our district forward, specifically at the high school and some middle school sites. In regard to the second piece of the nutrition center, I appreciated the district's transparency on the matter. I read the PDF file that was located on the website. I thought it was informative and well put. I did have some concerns, but I didn't have any after reading that. I like the direction and focus. I hope that our focus on bond money, and hopefully this will pass. I'm confident it will pass. I think the people of Sacramento see the utility in doing this for students. But I hope the focus on athletic facilities brings a renewed focus at the district level too on athletics, because I think it can bring a lot of good press and good opinion about our district in a way that we don't fully realize or utilize at this point. So I'm excited about the possibilities of both things, and I'd like to thank the superintendent's hard work and the hard work of staff on these proposals.
I'd like to move from conference to action.
We have a motion by Member Kennedy to move from conference to action with a second by Member Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. The ayes have it. We are now in action.
I'd like to have, if possible, two separate votes on the two separate resolutions.
Sure.
You have, one is 2715, the other is 2716. Roll call, please.
And a roll call. Thank you. Okay. On the item Resolution 2715, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
So we have the first by Member Terry and a second by Vice President Wu. All in favor on approving Resolution 27.
Roll call.
Okay. All in favor of with the roll call of approving Resolution number 2715. We will do a roll call.
Member Arroyo.
Aye.
Member Bell.
Aye.
Vice President Cuneo.
Aye.
Member Kennedy.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Member Terry.
Aye.
Vice President Wu.
Aye.
Student Member Yi. It is unanimous.
Thank you. Sorry. We will take the next resolution, number 2716.
Move resolution 2716.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first by Vice President Wu and a second by Member Kennedy. We will take the roll call vote, please, Superintendent.
Member Arroyo.
Aye.
Member Bell.
Aye.
Vice President Cuneo.
Aye.
Member Kennedy. President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Member Terry.
Aye.
Vice President Wu.
Aye.
Student Member Yi. It is unanimous.
Thank you. Both resolutions pass with a unanimous vote. We are now moving on to item 10.2, but